Well, good Tuesday afternoon. I'm here on the front porch, as you can see. It's a little breezy, so if you hear some wind, you know why. Today has been kind of like an odd kind of day for me. I was on the computer early this morning, somewhere between 9 and 10 in the morning, and I saw an advertisement, so I knew who they were, so I clicked on it and I signed in because I bought some stuff from this place up around Iowa a couple years ago, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna see if they got anything good. So I was flipping through there, and they got a swarm of bees, 10,000 bees in a container. Comes with the queen. It's $179 and change before tax and shipping. So after seeing that right there, I believe but I'm not going to order them until I get a hive. So I got to order the hive sometime within the next week or two, get it put together. I know where I'm going to put them, which kind of sucks in a way because I had that spot regulated because that's where I want to put a smokehouse. But I'm going to put the bees where I was going to put the smokehouse. So then now I have to figure out another place whenever I do build a smokehouse, which I have an idea where I can put it, but you know, it's not where I initially wanted to put it. So bees will be coming before too long. A beehive will be coming before too long. I know where I can add the smokehouse to put it, so to say, which I really don't want to put it there, but it is flat level ground, and you know it'll work pretty good. And so that might be a midsummer kind of project to, you know, have some people over to kind of like a barn raising kind of thing, but instead of a barn, it's going to be a smokehouse. So try that route. Sometime starting in March, we're going to demolish our master bathroom and tear it out and replace some of the walls because we have a mold issue. And then after that, we can put the new tub in, and it'll alleviate some room in the shed. And then I can gather out some of the other crap in the shed and, you know, get some concrete wire and a box frame piece, and I can concrete the floor in the shed. And then once that happens, I can, you know, get some decent, you know, shelvings in there for, you know, my tinkering with, you know, whatever I plan on messing with, and have a nice smooth flat floor surface. And as well, I got to move a couple. Well, I got concrete blocks on this side piece up here by the front drive area that I use for grow beds. And I'm going to take the dirt out of that, add it to a couple of the containers I have around here to, you know, fill up a little more. I'm looking at probably getting another 4 or 5 fire rings. They're galvanized stainless steel kind of things. Not stainless, they're galvanized steel. And I'm going to have them placed around certain parts of the yard full of dirt so I can put a ton of potatoes in them so I can grow my potatoes in my fire rings. I got 2 fire rings already out here with blueberries in them. They seem to enjoy that very well. It keeps some of your critters from getting into your container areas, so that's kind of a nice thing to have as well. I'm also looking at getting probably a couple of large boxes like I have out here on the side. I got one I still need to put together to finish it, but I'm going to wait until I get my tarpages across the ground for my weed barrier. And then once I get that put down, I'll put the boxes on top of it and everything else and fill them full of dirt and get everything started. Sometime this week or next week, I'm going to get a couple of those pre-made seed grow kits. You see them sometimes, got those little pellets in them. You pour hot water to activate, and they swell up, and you put your seeds in them. I'm gonna have a couple of those in the front window because this direction right now, well actually, excuse me, if I turn and face the roadway, I'm facing the south. So the whole front side of my redneck house faces the south. So I get full-blown sunlight from the south in front of the house. Well, my window here, I'm gonna get those, like I said, those 42 little 42 little plot things to start your seeds in. I'm gonna put onion seed in each one of those, like a single seed of onion, and I'm gonna start them from my front window. So that way, hopefully by like, I don't know, March, late March, I can go ahead and, you know, get some of my bedding out here started and put them in the ground, you know, get a good like leaf cover kind of thing around them, you know, since they're going to be small, and, you know, as a barrier kind of thing, and cover it with a tarp or something, you know, no big deal, no harm, no foul. So I can have a good amount of onions started, because as well as this year I'm going to have a ton of potatoes and a ton of onions, hopefully. Let me knock on some wood. And as well as potatoes and the onions, I'm going to have a ton of tomatoes. I figured out a way I can do this with tomatoes. And of course I gotta grow some timotalas, or timotali, however you want to call them, the Mexican green tomato. I'm planning on growing a bunch of that as well, so I can make a shit ton of salsa. Now, out of all the salsa that I made this past summer, out of 180 pounds of tomatoes, I have 2 jars left. And yes, I have given a portion of it away. I've given probably about a case of it away from summertime till now. But the rest of it we used in cooking and everything else. So that's why I'm wanting to grow a ton of tomatoes, a ton of timotalas, however you want to call it, and onions as well, because then I'm gonna have all my hot peppers and everything else, and hopefully I can have enough room for a ton of jalapenos. I want to grow the larger ones, so that way I can use those for salsa and making cowboy candy. And yeah, you know, if everything goes to how I have it in my head, mainly my ride mower is going to be a play toy. I'm still going to have to mow the yard, so I might have to invest in a push mower, because well, I might not have enough room to use a ride mower, hopefully. But, and then somebody asked me not too long ago, they're like, well, how big's your yard? And honestly and truthfully, I'm on about a ½ acre. And some people are like, well, I don't see how you're going to grow all this stuff on a ½ acre. Well, you just got to spash things together and, you know, utilize as much of the open area as possible. I do have a lot of trees around me, which I would love to have the trees taken out. And then somebody was like, well, if you take the trees out, then you're not going to have the shade you have. I'm like, well, if I don't have, I mean, I can have a little bit of shade. I don't need a ton of shade. And, you know, my philosophy is that if I have more area of sunlight, that just means more places I can put things to grow. And now I do have apportionment on the farm that's being willed to me, but that's like 2 counties away. And, you know, I mean, I could go over there possibly and grow some stuff, but if nobody's there to attend to it, then basically all it is that I'm feeding all the deer and the cow and whatever else comes through and decides, hey, I'm hungry, let's eat this stuff. So, you know, and it's not really worth me to drive, you know, 45 minutes one way to start something and not be able to, you know, to maintain it. So I utilize my half acre of ground here as much as possible. Now, there is that piece of land next to me that basically it's a flood zone, and I could utilize a little bit of that area, but there's so many trees in there and shaded wise, it's pointless. So, and then on top of it, I had thought about buying the piece of property to cut it out and come have a bunch of guys come in with some dirt and rock and fill it in as much as possible to turn it into like a great big grow area. But I don't want to pay on that versus still having to pay for this. So I'm just utilizing what I have and just making the best of it. But I got my big old mulberry tree here, which I love it to death. Everybody I've known, well, not everybody, but like my mom and my dad and everybody else, was like, you need to cut that down. Why? I get fruit from the tree. It's free. It don't cost me nothing. And I just can't see the tulip poplar. Yeah, I could see cutting a couple of those down because I get shade, but I don't get nothing from it. At least with my peach trees, my apple tree, my mulberry tree. And even though I call my elderberry a tree, it's a shrub form, but it's as tall as my elderberry tree bush is taller than my apple tree. And it produces way more than any of my trees except for my mulberry. So, but it is what it is. There's so many things I got to attend to this year to make sure everything produces and adequately gives me everything that I need. It's crazy, but it's going to be worth my time because in the spring, in the early spring, mid-spring, late spring, early summer, summertime, I'm out in the yard. I don't care if it's 120 degrees, I'm out in the yard. I love being outside. I can't stand being inside the house. It drives me crazy. I gotta be outside in nature. I gotta be out. I don't care if I'm just in the yard. I'm out here messing the garden. Gardening is my therapy. I used to think having chickens was a therapy, but actually and honestly, gardening is really my therapy. Chickens is a substitute for gardening. But there's still a few more things this year I gotta look into, do the pros and the cons, figure out what I really need, what I really don't need. But everything will work out in the long run, which I know it will. I've already talked, a buddy of mine came by this past Sunday, and I told him, I said I'm gonna do a lot more fishing this year. And I asked him, I said, if you're into it, let me know and we'll go fishing. And Otter Creek is one of the main places I want to go to because it got some really good fish in there. Yeah, you gotta pay to get into it, but it's okay because you can go there fishing, you can go in there root digging, you can go in there hunting, you can go in there to the gun range, you can go to the archery range. I mean, there's so many things you can do there other than just fish. And that's one of the places. And the other place I want to go to is Sonder Springs, which is a little closer than that. It's like maybe 10 minutes down the road from me. And then down here in Colesburg, there's a creek down there. There's a lot of panfish in there, which is it'll fit on a piece of bread, maybe a little bit bigger, but not too much. But yeah, there's so many places I want to go fishing. And that's going to be my time off from the market. Like when I decided, hey, I'm not going to go to the market this weekend, we're going fishing. And I don't care if it's creek bank, I don't care if it's river bank, I don't care if it's walking down the big ass stream, standing in the water fishing. I don't care, we're going fishing. And a GoPro might come in handy, because I don't imagine I can carry this with my hand and fish with a thing. I need something that's hands-free to where I can operate. I either have it wear it on my head or wear it on my chest, one of the two. But yeah, a GoPro, it might be coming in play here soon, or something like a GoPro, one of the two. I hate to buy a Chinese knockoff, but you know, if I have to, I have to. I'd much rather have something that's, you know, worth a shit. But GoPros can be kind of costly, so. And hearing that warbler up there chirping, that's a good sign. Bad sign, but it's a good sign. I haven't heard a bird chirp like that in months. What a beautiful sound. But I don't want to take a whole lot of the time. This is just kind of like a catch me up and a pick me up, and let you know all the crazy things I got going on as of right now. As long as I'm inside, I won't be wearing these, but as long as I'm outside, I'm going to have to wear these until I get an eye patch. Because I got arthritis in this eye, and the sun out here like it is right now, if I was out here, it hurts so bad, it drive me crazy. Because this eye on this side, it's really light sensitive, and what's out here right now would basically put me underneath the table. So, and then I go sometime in February, I think 20th, I gotta get surgery then. So I know for February 20th until at least a week or two, you won't see me at all. Maybe even a little longer. But you know, it's all part of getting old. You gotta maintain and take care of your broken down body. So the joys of getting old. But it is what it is, you know. As long as my feet hit the ground, shit, I don't care. It don't bother me a bit. I mean, it does, but you know, as long as I'm on flat Earth, you know, I'm not in it or under it, I'm A-okay. But I think I'm gonna shut up and take my ass inside and download this and put it up there, and you know, maybe sometime between now and this coming stormy, rainy Wednesday or this rainy weekend, you might see me again with more of an update what's going on with my redneck homestead. So until then, have a great day. Enjoy this nice weather if you have it, and if you don't, make the best of what you do have, and I'll catch y'all again soon.